Okay. I think we're on? Yes? I think so. Hello there. Welcome to It's All Subjective. We are, as usual, your captains on this wonderful voyage. And
Wonderful.
unlike some ships, ours hasn't sunk so far, but somebody's ship did
Well,
sink recently, and I think you wanted to talk about that, so I will open the floor to you.
yeah, when I saw this, I knew you were gonna kind of get a real hoot out of it because, first and foremost, this news came to me from Twitter. And you got to keep in mind, I don't even have a Twitter account anymore. So the fact that people kind of shouted this into oblivion and it reached ears that should have been deaf in the first place, I mean, I don't know, man. Crowdsourcing is it's hell in a handbasket when it comes to social media. But anyway, apparently U.S. sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson will miss the Olympic event after positive marijuana test. This Olympic event, I believe, being a 100-meter dash.
Okay.
I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I have Forbes up because in terms of trustworthy news, you gotta have Forbes. I mean, the Cornerstone Financial magazine is talking about this, so you know how we love.
So what did this person do exactly that caused all the trouble?
Richardson was found to have marijuana metabolites when taking. When it comes to a marijuana test, I believe really the tried and true method is urine.
Okay.
And marijuana is not allowed in any Olympic event.
And I'm assuming that's been the status quo for quite a significant amount of time. Nothing new.
It's definitely the status quo for, I would say most major competitive sports, at least the ones that are televised, advertised, and by all intents and purposes, these people are taking home a king's ransom.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I'd just read this and we'd go into it. But the fastest woman in America is the reigning U.S. champion in the 100-meter sprint. Richardson, 21 years old, was an early favorite to capture the U.S.'s first gold medal in the event since 1996. Pretty good. And after winning the event at the U.S. Olympic track and field trials late last month in 10.86 seconds with her long hair dyed orange man bad, but not in this case. The Dallas native further cemented a growing celebrity that's already won admirers, including former First Lady Michelle Obama. The Jamaica Gleaner first reported news of the positive test. Citing anonymous sources, Richardson's suspension was later confirmed by Cincinnati Enquirer sports reporter Tyler Dragon. And by Tyler Dragon's tweet, because Richardson apparently faces a 30-day ban, he reports that Sha'Carri Richardson did not use steroids, according to a source. Richardson is facing a 30-day suspension for testing positive for marijuana.
Okay.
And these are just related ads. This one just says, Mike Tyson, quote, "I smoked marijuana before fighting Roy Jones Jr." It doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just a hyperlink. But like many of these online news aggregates, they have to shoehorn their ads and subsequent stories in a way that's just so nauseating. So anyway, if the suspension is upheld, Richardson will miss the 100-meter sprint at the Tokyo Olympics, which begin July 23rd.
Okay.
Love it. The suspension may be lifted time for Richardson to compete in the 4x100-meter relay, and yeah. So basically, I guess if I can sort of defer this discussion into commentary, a lot of people got up in arms over the fact that she smoked weed. It's not allowed.
Right.
And they are justifying it by saying, I believe the quote was, if it ain't crack, let her back on the track.
Oh my god. Tell
Or
me that
something to
that's
that
something you
extent.
made up.
No, it is. I'm actually trying to find it within the article, but all I can find is her tweet that states, simply put, 10:22 a.m., July 1st of this year, I am human.
I am human.
I am human.
Okay.
And going to her Twitter, because I'm just going to read it off right here.
Feel free.
Yeah, my daughter always watches her video and be like, Dad, that's going to be you and Simone Biles is her favorite? What? I guess another runner? You are magnificent, you are stunning, you are beautiful, you are dedicated, you are untouchable, you are worthy. This is your moment. Show them why you started. You got this.
How inspiring.
And now she's banned.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. Like, what is the argument that she pissed in a cup and they found marijuana metabolites and it's
right.
illegal, but it should be legal because it's not a performance-enhancing drug? Now, you could make the argument because of the different strains of marijuana and THC that one could be used theoretically as an enhancer. The other one could be a downer. You have indica and sativa, the former of which helps you concentrate, let's just say. So, I guess where's the argument in that?
Well,
you know, like I understand. Yeah.
The whole problem is really simple. It's just that was a rule and it got broken.
Yeah.
If it's written in rule that way, you can't use that thing. Then, if you do, you broke the rule.
Mm-hmm.
You can argue that the rule is
I'm not
good
sure
or bad,
if here, I'm gonna go ahead and send you the Twitter thread right here. Excuse me. Because it's really a difficult, I mean, I feel it's not as difficult of a topic to talk about if it's so set in stone what the rules are. But what I'm seeing right now, and hopefully what you're seeing right now too, if the link works, is vehement support for her. Like,
where's the link? Did you send it to me on?
Oh, it's through Discord.
Oh, okay. I will take a look at that.
It's one of those instances where this happened and everyone is stating how much of an inspiration she is, and I won't, deny that. But it's a matter of like, oh, you should be supported by the cannabis industry. You should be having sponsorships like out the ass for this, what could arguably be conceived as a mistake,
Right.
This dude's saying ran a 10.8 off a runts pack. This is even more impressive.
I just don't. I guess what it is I think of it like speeding in a zone that's 20 miles per hour or something like that. Like, if the sign says you can't do that thing and you did that thing, well, you broke the rule that's written there, and so you have to deal with the consequences of the rule being broken, even if it's dumb.
Right.
It's like, don't turn left between these hours, and you do it thinking, oh, it's not a big deal. But if a cop saw you, you got caught. You can't argue because that's what it said. Right. I just don't. I guess the thing is, maybe the punishment may be too harsh. Maybe.
I'm really not sure, because I'm not sure how much. I'm not an expert on the whole like sponsorship and advertiser revenue that she's ultimately getting competing. Not to mention the fact that she did win the gold medal, right?
Right.
Now, I guess the discussion goes from. I'm hoping that it transitions from Twitter. I mean, my God, if it ends up being birthed here, is living here, and the conversation ends here, it's going to be back and forth of, oh, nothing's wrong, and it's going to be I'm not sure if this is going to have enough power to be sort of the law of the land, like anything's going to be changed. You know, if it's federally regulated that this is not allowed, and more people are trying to justify that with, you know, the amount of respect someone has for her, or like dedication. It's like, yeah, great. These two things can be separated. These two things can be, you know, done not interdependently, independently of one another. But the fact of the matter is that in a specific situation where drug tests are both mandated and
Right.
frequent enough,
Yeah.
why would you ever want to make that risk?
Yeah, why would you take the risk? Can you not go like a week without it? Because, like, to me, that's more of a problem if you're not able to not use it for a month.
Now it's funny because Twitter has, I'm not sure if it's within the algorithm itself, but when you scroll past the amount of comments that you more likely than not want to jump ship to, like who would want to read all this to begin with?
Well, most Twitter comments are just
right.
the worst garbage that can be written on the internet. But
no, exactly. But you end up getting to that button that says load more comments.
Okay.
And I think this is really where the circus begins, because I have one individual. I found the first negative comment. I'm not sure if this guy's trolling, but he says, or ... don't do illegal drugs when you're about to be a superstar and set yourself and family for life.
Right.
This is an 89 chain comment thread. And best believe, oh man,
how many likes does it have compared to comments? I want to know if the ratio is bad.
I think it has like 289 comments or something. 289 likes.
Okay.
And like 89.
I mean, it's still a ratio. It's not an inverse ratio yet, so he got started of that. 22 retweets, but the response. Oh man, the response that I actually can see is just, you want to talk about a ratio. Stay out of her black ass business, Ku Klux Kleenex bottle. What?
26 comments, 75 retweets, 1.4k likes. I wish I could see the comment thread from the original poster. I really do, but unfortunately, because I don't have a Twitter account, I can't see it all.
That's just funny, man.
Well, here's another one. Quote, I am human, end quote, is not good enough. Little girls were watching. Little girls were believing. Now what? A fair point, honestly.
Okay.
Given the position that she's in. And the comment, she is not here to raise nobody child. Parents should be their kids' own role models.
Oh yeah,
not athletes.
That's why they turn all of these people into like advertisement friendly role models, right? Because obviously that's not their job. That sounds like cap to me. Like, that's what they end up becoming as soon as they get big. They're used on t-shirts, they're used in advertisements, they're used in everything. So that argument doesn't have any merit to it.
Right. But a third time is the charm. And you can probably assume that from the last two comments, that they were coming from a position of, okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. And by the benefit of the doubt, I'm just going to give you a TLDR and say that both of these original responses were from white men.
Okay.
Okay. Now this one is the curveball. This is from a black man saying that run was suspect. Pulling up and pointing at the clock with almost 10 meters to run, and ran that time was a giveaway. Okay. The response. Wow, it's pathetic that this level of jealousy is on your heart and you do not even know this young woman. Get your life together. As if this woman knows who this woman is. Number one, like on a first name basis. Like, oh, we're buddy-buddy.
Right.
Like,
I mean, he brought up a fair point. He didn't attack her for anything.
Yeah.
He's just saying that it seemed to be a little off, and maybe there's a reason behind that. So...
Hey.
And what was... Since you've mentioned the rest of them, what was that one's skin tone? The one that responded with that?
Dark.
Oh, okay.
We're going 3 for 3 on black women responding. Okay, that's fine. But the last person who made the comment was a black man. And what's funny is that this other black man says, I hope Nike discontinues their sponsorship with you. You disgrace Nike with your fake running, railing as if you were taking horse tonic. Okay? And then the response is, excuse me? And that's it. And the replies, he just replied back saying, that's the fact. If I could like this comment, I would. He just shows no mercy. See, in Twitter, you either show no mercy or you get beaten down. Okay?
Right. I've learned that in every sense of the word.
You have experience. You know, I don't understand. I don't understand. I feel as though it's sort of a universal deterrent of performance, you know, like don't have anything that can be perceived as a performance enhancing substance or a downer, you know. I don't understand.
How could you delete your Twitter account? For shame.
How could I? Oh, so I could be a part of these ravishing discussions right here?
Yes, it's not ravishing, it's ravaging. There's a subtle difference.
We could do a whole stream off of these tweets right here.
You could fill an entire series of novels with the amount of garbage that Twitter has brought upon human society. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I've seen
now,
every morsel of just horrible behavior on there, and it transfers to the real world, and these people they're not able to communicate with other people unless they're completely on the same page.
Everyone's also talking about how Michael Phelps apparently was like, I guess, caught, you know, like he had marijuana in his system. Well, that's the thing. He still competed in the Olympics after there was a video of him at a party smoking a bong which had marijuana in it. They're doing the most now, and I don't like that. Now, it takes about 10 seconds to look this up, whether or not that's true. This guy did. Phelps actually didn't test positive. He was photographed smoking 3 months after the Olympics. Yeah.
But, and he tested negative or positive?
It wouldn't have mattered. The Olympics were over.
Oh, this was after?
This was after.
Oh.
And then everyone after that, like, this dude just got shanked in the replies by saying, oh, he was suspended longer than she was. He was suspended by his USA swim team, not the Olympic Committee, but go off. Oh, well, go off indeed.
Yeah, I really hate it when people write that. I don't care, like, if they're right or wrong.
Go off.
I don't like that. Stay mad.
Stay mad,
I've used that out of pure, like, because I just didn't even care about, like, conversing with this individual anymore. It was, like, the only time I've ever used stay mad, and it's just such a cheap response. I'm saying that having used it, I just think it's a really cheap response.
But damn, you trained so hard. You really didn't think, nah, let me chill and stay smoke-free for the next few months while I put in this work? Yeah! And then after that, someone posted a response, and it's an actual, like, Facebook response.
Okay.
That someone screenshotted in response. Like, they couldn't fit it in a tweet. Like, oh. Okay.
So, have you
There we
found
go. So,
many racial
yeah.
arguments on this thing? Are people
It's all
making it a race issue?
Oh, dude, it's all a race issue. Before I read this, this diatribe here, let me show you. If a white woman was to miss her Olympics because of marijuana, there wouldn't be so much noise around it. But since she's black, and then, you know, black guy gif shrugging, that's just one of many, you know. But now we're on
because
to
God forbid it be a genuine critique of a person, right?
Right. So this is the response that was, I guess, posted on Facebook in response to this guy. This woman posted on Facebook simply so that she could screenshot it and then take it back to Twitter. So after the locked gate scandal, Mario Andrada, a spokesperson for the Rio Olympics 2016, said they're just kids, which they were actually way older than Shikari when they did this in another country during the Olympics, and that, quote, they deserve to be given a break because they're Olympians. These swimmers literally peed in a gas station, not in the bathroom, and vandalized it. Then made false reports about being robbed at gunpoint. The spokesperson thought that they should get a break. This girl has earned her spot and shouldn't be penalized for something natural. Natural? Like smoking weed natural? Or like the fact that it grows under electricity? The fact that it grows under like heat lamps? I don't know. I've seen how it's made. It doesn't look so natural to me. I mean, at least nowadays, what you find in Los Angeles versus what you may have found, like, in the fields centuries ago. Okay,
right.
And if people were actually educated and did their own research instead of listening to what we're brainwashed into thinking by our schools, marijuana was only criminalized in 1937 after becoming more associated with the Mexican immigrants who used it. Prior to that, it was used for thousands of years. Saying she wants a free pass or that rules are rules to me is ridiculous.
Rules are rules is ridiculous? Okay.
This girl is a college student, athlete, excuse me, trains all the time for running, and just lost her mother, but pushed away to make her dream come true. Just because something is a rule doesn't make it right, just like many laws. Back to the Olympics, if a spokesperson can openly say that all these white swimmers should have gotten a break for what they did while in another country, representing the U.S., then a hell of a lot more Olympic spokespeople should be shouting for this girl to have her chance.
I don't know, man. It seems like people are trying to come up with any excuse they can in order to justify it.
Right.
And again, these are just Twitter folk. And to be honest with you, Twitter folk is just... their opinions are almost worse than, you know, going around asking people on the street what they think about it. I'd take their opinions over these people because these people have lost their minds on that godforsaken app. I don't know who to take seriously on there anymore because they're just... there will be a ratio comment on things that don't have any reason to need a ratio comment. Like, it reminds me of something I was looking at today about, I guess San Francisco has a bunch of Target stores that are closing early because they don't want to, they're worried about shoplifting and robbery. And there was comments and they're like, oh, how could they close early? How dare they? That's racist. They're like, they're doing Jim Crow laws. What?
Well, it's funny because the rabbit hole goes so much deeper. Now, I stumbled across a comment that just said, in response to the original tweet, which is, I am human. This woman just alt-tabbed and said, so are gay people. Weird bitch, I call it karma.
What?
And the first response is literally, girl, what? But now everyone is now digging up Shikari's old tweets.
Oh
right?
no.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Oh no.
Oh yes. So the okay. So the original tweet was from May 4th, 2019. And it outlined what Chris Brown did to Rihanna. And it says, "This is what Chris Brown did to Rihanna. Don't ever call it a mistake. Abusing women is not a fucking mistake. Women die, and Justin Bieber, who should inspire people, is yada yada yada." What was going on at the time? Okay. Shikari's response was, "Oh my gosh, shut up. Women like you are so annoying. None of us are perfect. That was a mistake he made years ago and was dubbed Throat the Mud about for years."
What?
"It's not right for anyone to put theirs hands on another person, but y'all don't say anything about the fact that..." And then it just ends.
Okay.
And then basically,
okay.
And then it goes on to, into people digging up her like old homophobic tweets.
Oh jeez.
I guess quote unquote.
No.
If you support Lil Nas X, you can unfollow me. Happy face. And then
I'm
the
guessing
next
that's a
tweet
rapper.
is
I don't pay attention to that stuff.
Lil Nas, Old Town Road.
Oh.
The satanic shoes.
Oh yeah. That's where the name came.
But the next tweet says, "If you N and you wear pink, die in a pit because you gay as fuck."
My God.
What? Oh my God.
Dude, I don't have a response to that. I really don't.
Is this based?
I don't know what it is. I think that if this issue didn't come up, I think there were going to be other issues coming up later on. So now I'm confused. You've successfully managed to confuse me, which is not easy. I
People
just don't
talking about
what is. I just don't know what's going on now. I'm lost.
Right. So the next tweet says, "People talking about rules are rules, but half of y'all couldn't even abide by public health guidelines during a pandemic."
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh.
Someone had to bring that up.
Yeah.
Someone had to bring that up. They couldn't leave that one alone. God forbid.
Everyone in the comments. Those were suggestions, not rules. And then someone put the definition of the word guideline in the fucking response. I love it.
Wow, look at that. Unrelated. These guys scored with 3 minutes and 20 seconds in, and the teammate that I had left because he couldn't handle that. That's just pathetic. Like, rage quit much? Also, I hope everyone's enjoying the gameplay. I've only played this game for like 3 days, so it's
how
not
is the
that
game?
Good.
How is the game, by the way?
Lost a couple, won a few.
Yeah, I'm too busy jumping through hoops to find I'm
running the B-roll here.
Yeah.
It's keeping people excited about all the subjects that are being discussed.
I was one of those who said rules are rules. I don't see MD in front of your name or in the back of your name. The Olympic Committee has a very specific list of banned drugs. The committee and coaches should have given meetings every week, so they should be accountable too. It's a fair response. Probably came off a lot more Karen than I would have liked, but like I get it. If people want to play Nazi hall monitor, like I get it, you know.
Oh, you said the word. Oh no.
Well,
there goes the monetization.
At least it's your channel. And still aren't abiding by the rules. I hate the fact that like half. Oh, that was fucked up.
What?
Okay, so on Twitter, when it says, like, there's the tweet, and then below the tweet, there's like the gray box that says the following may contain sensitive material.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking it's Twitter. It's probably gonna be like some broad promoting her OnlyFans, in like the heat of a socio-political discussion. The reply says, and still aren't abiding by the rules. The following is sensitive material. Then it shows like the view button.
Okay.
I click view, and it's just Kobe Bryant nodding. And I'm like, is it in bad taste?
I think that's like an AI detection glitch or something.
Maybe.
Because that's...
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know why Kobe Bryant is sensitive material.
Well, I mean, if the helicopter crash told us anything.
Well, yeah, but, I mean... Wait. Did you mean that in more than one way?
Not really, no. I just thought that it was like a sensitive topic. Oh, this one. Hold up, I did, in fact. I still wear a mask and socially distance myself when possible.
You have to read that with a nasally voice, otherwise it doesn't make as much sense.
No shirt, no shoes, no service was a fact that was abided by, but wearing a mask to protect themselves from themselves was compared to slavery. For me? What? Hashtag Michael Phelps?
Who's doing slavery?
I don't even know. You know what? Let's look at 4chan.
Oh, jeez. You're going down into like.
Let's see if they have anything to say
the
about
pits of hell, man.
I mean, at this point, yeah.
Are we gonna have to post like I don't know, pink squares on our Instagram pages or something? Because if we are, I at least like a week's worth of heads up notice. It's just it helps me to get ready for that.
I was gonna say usually 4chan's pretty decent at covering the news like right when it happens. So I'm surprised there's nobody talking about this.
Maybe they really don't care.
I was gonna say maybe I'm on not the right board. I am on politically incorrect. That should be the right one.
Oh, believe me, you are definitely politically incorrect.
Well, I guess it's all subjective though. So.
Hey, we're not supposed to say that till the end. How could you do that?
Let's look up sexy, beautiful women. Maybe it'll be in here.
Sir, I might have to call the authorities if you're not careful.
Well, the board definitely delivers, but it's not here. Okay, well, this search kind of came up dry. I'll tuck that in away for later. And yeah, let's go back to Twitter.
Well, I think another interesting thing worth mentioning, if you'd like to, is about the rent-related thing that you were talking about earlier to me. I thought that was a pretty interesting topic.
I mean, it was a discussion that came from such an innocuous topic that I really didn't think much of. And it started off as like a spat. It was between me and my mom, and we were talking about how buying this sink for the bathroom was a worthwhile investment. And I didn't particularly understand until I thought to myself, you know what, she does have a point in regards to home renovation, because you definitely want to renovate your house in the instance that you're going to sell it in the next 10 to 20 years. Okay, I get that. When people move into houses, usually they don't keep anything that the original property owners left behind. I get it. And you can get away with selling it for a lot more. The problem was, and maybe it's just not me understanding what it means to be an interior designer.
Okay.
But you know me as sort of a function over form kind of person. You know, I don't care what it looks like. I'm the same way with cars. I don't care what it looks like as long as it gets me from point A to point B. In this instance, as long as it washes my hands effectively and the water coming out isn't on par with what Flint has, then I'm fine. I'm good. But it spiraled into this long discussion about how home renovation, transfers into higher levels of equity, what you could potentially sell the house more for, yada yada. And it got to me thinking, okay, so what do these houses go for? And my mom and I were looking at this house on a adjacent street that we live on. It sold for $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not surprising, man.
You know where I live.
Yeah.
Just outside of Los Angeles in a fairly, I guess you want to call it a white picket fence neighborhood. Nothing really goes down over here. And similar to you, except you live in more like the shopping district.
Right.
But it got me thinking, $1 million? For what? You're not even living in major metropolitan area at that point. You're living on like the outskirts. But number two, why would anyone think that that's a reasonable price?
You'd be surprised. I don't understand the mentality either, but
okay,
I just don't know.
10% of $1 million. What is that?
10% of $1 million?
Because usually that's the down payment, right? Isn't it 10%? $100,000 down payment?
Yeah, that's standard here, man.
Serious?
You can't get a place here for less than that. You're gonna pay $100,000 down, otherwise your monthly is gonna be just egregious.
Here's my opinion. You should personally not be spending more than $200,000 for a house. And I know that's gonna shock and potentially scare a lot of audience members. With how many are in here? I'm not sure how many are in here.
I actually don't have access to the screen right now.
That is totally fine. But I know that may shock and scare audience members because, us dumb Americans either live in either Los Angeles or in New York and nothing in between. But that's sort of my point. You should not be spending more than $200,000 for a house. And if that means you have to move out Midwest, so fucking be it. People from California are already migrating to Oregon, Texas, Nevada, Arizona because of this very same reason. They cannot afford living here. And I told my mom, it's a very hyperinflated market right now. Home ownership? I think home ownership is something that I think, we all aspire for. But I don't think that that's feasible in this state. At least anymore.
No, and I don't think you can find a property that's truly worth it for the value here, like at all. I just don't.
No.
You're better off leasing, or renting. I should say.
But at that point, wouldn't you want to own that house? Wouldn't you want to have home ownership, land ownership?
Well, if your work is something that doesn't have a specific area, then yeah, get the hell out. If you're working in something like film industry and you're like on set type of job, you're stuck here. So you can pay the mortgage or you can lease or rent, and in that sense you don't have to pay the egregious property taxes that are here.
Right.
And
I couldn't wrap my
egregious property tax are people that bought the property a couple decades back, because we have that Prop 13, I think, back in the day, that locked the property taxes, whatever it was at the time of purchase.
Well, I wanted to sort of continue with the argument stating that, like, a house is not an investment unless that house is yours. That house, should you not make your mortgage payments, go to the bank. They don't go to you, Like, I feel like a lot of people are in their own heads thinking that paying into the mortgage is an investment, right? However, if you can't afford to pay off that mortgage in 10, 15, 20 years, if you don't have the lifespan for 10, 15, 20 years, then that's not an investment on your part.
No, unless you're investing it for family members to use afterward.
Right. So a solution that I came up with was, well, what if you rented out the property in order to pay the mortgage?
Which
And then
people
once
do.
you pay, and right, and then once you pay off the mortgage, why not just continually rent the property to now earn that passive income?
Well, that's what some people do if they have the money to do it, but you need that money to do it.
Well, right, exactly, but it's definitely tricky in California, especially because we were actually driving down the street and we saw 3 triplexes. I think it was two triplexes and 1 house, all on the same road, all of them sold. I'm willing to bet that they're all under the same property management company.
It very well could be.
And this person or this property management company, one or the other, spent upwards of $5 million for all 3. Now you look at that and you think, oh well, that's a small investment for the amount of money that I could be paying. And yeah, that's definitely true. But what 20-something-year-olds, what millennials do you know with that kind of money that actually want to get into real estate? Okay, we've all played Monopoly. We all know that our best interest in winning the game is simply not going around the board and not buying property. Okay, I get it. But what chance do we have?
No, I don't.
In California.
Yeah. It's not worth it here. You can go, and I think Texas has already been going up in value too much now for me
Texas
to say
has been going up in value
because it's a good place to invest. It might still be in certain areas, mind you, but nothing like it was a couple of years ago.
The real estate investment trusts invest in through, particular apps and particular brokerages. It's funny. Not one of, I believe, the 16 properties that my money is delegated into, not one of the properties is in California. That should say something. Yeah. They're all in timeshare-esque, Midwestern, by the beach, East Coast predominantly, locations. None of them are in California.
Well, what's left here to invest in anyways, outside of like deteriorating properties?
Exactly. Yeah. We are we're definitely in a housing bubble. I feel as though people believe that the prices that you would get here are good compared to what they can be. And it's like, okay, if you want me to humor that idea and think that a price going up maybe 60-70%, let's just say the property ends up being $3-4 million, what, you think that's a good price comparatively? $1 million compared to $4 million? Like, what? It's my opinion. Take it or leave it.
No, I get it.
That a house should cost no more than $200,000.
I think of it like cars. You can
ample land to spare.
If you buy a car, that's you own it, but
right.
I almost question, should you buy it, especially when it's already going to depreciate in value after an hour of owning the car.
Well, think of it like this. It's a lot like streetwear. Why would you want to put your money into something that you would hate for it to get ruined? That any semblance of elemental distress, because you're taking this out in public, in the world, any modicum of dirt or debris or something that would depreciate its value, I mean, dude, it's the elements, okay?
One sec.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Ryan, I can add you on Epic, and I can definitely get you in. I'm actually the only one in this. My buddy's not even playing this. Throw your Epic ID or your whatever you're using, because I think it's crossplay, and I'll add you in. I'll add you as a friend. Yeah, feel free to throw that into the chat if you'd like.
Sweet.
Or if you want to add mine, if you don't want to say what yours is, just my username is Primacronus, Primacronus on
Is
all
that
platforms.
I was gonna say, does that work? I mean, I can throw my PlayStation username in there, but I don't really play Rocket League, so.
Do you even own Rocket League? I don't think I even asked you.
I used to. I mean, it's still free from what I can tell, I believe. Is it?
I don't know.
They were giving it away for free, and
yeah, I got this for free on Epic on my PC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sick.
Interesting.
I will add. Thank you for putting that in the chat. I will add you once this concludes. I appreciate the comments.
Radical.
So, anyway, what I wanted to say was I wouldn't buy a car unless it was something very special to me, like an old, a really old car, like something from the 60s or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like an old Challenger or a Corvette. But in terms of like modern day stuff, I just don't see the purpose in buying the car when I can rent or lease the car. Lease, to be particular. And after a couple years, the new model comes out and I can switch over to the newer model and it's a brand new car again. That's what I'm doing right now.
Right.
After 3 years, I switch over to the new model. Or if I really wanted to get a different car, I guess I could if I needed to, but some people just go out there and put 50,000 into it to a new vehicle and that's gone, man. You're not getting that back even if you sold it 2 years later.
I mean, it's the same reason why I would never buy a Tesla or invest in Tesla, because it's one of those instances where you look at Tesla and you look at GM, for example, right? People only buy that stock price, for instance, because that's what they perceive Tesla to be worth. Over $600. At a time, over $800.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Meanwhile, GM has higher market cap. It's been around for way longer, for decades, and it's like an eighth of the price. Not only that, I get dividends for holding the fucking thing. So, like, really, like, I don't know. I think a lot of people are caught up in the hype of owning things.
Dude, you mentioned stock, and you know what I've remembered? I've been getting so many messages on my private Instagram. I get a follow request from a strange account, and I humor it by adding them, and then they message me asking how I'm doing, and all sorts of stuff like that, where I'm from, all these personal questions, and I usually just make up the answers to it. And then a little bit in, they start asking like, well, do you invest in crypto? Do you know about it?
Oh,
do you want to buy it?
Is it one of those spam accounts that like, oh, I'll Forex trade for you?
That's sometimes, or sometimes they're like, I'm like, I only hold Dogecoin, and they're like, well, would you want to trade that in for something that's more stable? And I'm like,
no. What do I look like? A competent investor? Fuck you.
Yeah, I at a certain point I ignore it.
Right.
I try to understand what is the purpose of these accounts. I guess I don't really understand what they're trying to do.
So I can actually answer that, which is great because I'm actually about to hop off and start my own stream. Feel free to check that out.
We've got about a couple minutes.
So I'll actually break it down for you. You have a lot of these Forex, cryptocurrency, stock analysis, fake guru, money manager, hedge fund, double deluxe, short shrimp dick Instagram accounts. And I only say it like that because I know a few people personally that have been scammed by these accounts. In essence,
they fell for it?
They fell for it. Yeah, no. It's people get scammed by this all the time. Right. And most often people don't have a way of finding out who these people are, snagging their IP address to see where their money is actually going. Or the know-how, all right? So you find these people, or more often than not, actually, they find you, because in this day and age, everyone knows what investing is. Everyone knows what cryptocurrency is. If you haven't bought into it, oh, you really should, yada, 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 but you at least, it's in public conversation as of now. And these people promise sizable returns, daily percentage yields, people, a feat that should not even be possible by even Warren Buffett's standards, but somehow they do it. The S&P 500 returns what? A modest 8 to 10%, maybe even 12% a year, and that's being generous? No. 25% returns daily. So you're like, okay, how much money can I invest? And typically they suggest starting with a lower amount, so that way they can show you the results. Now, what you're doing is you are sending them money, and if they haven't scammed you already for asking you for like your Robinhood or your Coinbase wallet or whatever, they will take that money, they'll put it in their account, and they will actually multiply it. Whether they use some HTML command or they actually end up compounding your money, is say your money's already gone. Okay. You're not seeing that return anytime soon, if ever.
I wouldn't expect that. I would. I mean,
no, but
I just can't see how you fall for that.
That is just it, though. People do. All right. People will assume these roles on Instagram as these money managers or forex traders, or like these day traders, these get rich quick things, and people don't understand that it's a scheme because we are still in a down economy. Now, you could look at Jerome Powell pushing the money printer button all you like. Yeah, printing excess amounts of money has never led to unintentional consequences. No, never. Yeah.
I mean, but how do I say this?
But we're in a down economy. These are some
really complicated scams, because it's
they're really
not
though.
Hey, I'm an African prince and I have a lot of money that I'd like to give you.
No, but look at it this way. If you can guarantee a return on investment, and you have the chops to at least put together an Instagram profile to prove it, quote unquote.
Well, they have all these pictures of them on yachts, or they have Lambos.
Oh yeah,
expensive cars, luxury life.
They're living the Jordan Belfort lifestyle. 1 week before he gets caught for what was it, fraud or something? Yeah, he defrauded his investors, which is what a lot of these people end up doing. So, friendly advice: don't send these people any money, or if you do, send them minuscule amounts of it. Usually they'll start with let's start with like $100 to $500 for like an initial down payment, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Right.
Fuck it. Ask if you could send them 5.
I ain't sending anyone anything.
No, right, but of course they're not going to accept that. They're going to be like, well, we really recommend that you start with this amount. Yeah, so that's how you want to kind of, we do a fair amount of trolling here. You could say. Don't fall for these scams, people.
Worse, man. Progressively worse.
Don't fall for these scams, people. If you're gonna, if you make a living, if you have a paycheck, whether it be from, I don't care if it's from unemployment or gainful employment or passive income or whatever, put that money aside. Put it in a Vanguard fund.
Yeah, don't buy Dogecoin with it unless you really want to.
Or if you do buy altcoins, don't bet the farm like that one idiot that spent a couple thousand, ended up turning it into a couple million, and then once it halved back down to 25 cents, lost $1 million.
Did you see they removed a couple people from FaZe Clan because of one of those crypto scams?
Yeah, that can be a live stream in and of itself.
I don't remember his name. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that at one point.
I'll tell you what. If I have enough energy after this next live stream that I'm gonna do, let's hop back on and we will talk about The Save the Kids token. That is the crypto, the altcoin that they were pushing.
Was that what it was called? I didn't even know that.
It was called Save the Kids token, meant for hodlers organizations. How much money did they see? Absolutely nothing. Until next time, people, remember.
It's all subjective.
Okay, I was going to say, you want to say the line? All right.
I was
Peace
waiting
out,
for
everybody.
a dramatic pause. Peace out.